Before he was a UFC champion, Israel Adesanya was a skinny kid who got bullied and escaped into anime, dancing, and fantasy worlds. Years later, he would walk into the UFC like a villain in his own movie and knock out the best fighters on the planet. He became champion, superstar, one of the most technical strikers the sport has ever seen. But then one night, in front of the entire world, everything fell apart. This is the full story of Israel Adesanya and the fight that changed his career forever. Make sure you stay until the end, because this story doesn't end the way most people think. If you're into real fighter stories, not just knockouts, but the psychology, the rivalries, the rise and the fall, then you're in the right place. Subscribe to the channel and join this community, because we're building the most interesting MMA story library on YouTube, one fighter at a time. And Israel Adesanya's story is one of the craziest ones, from being bullied and underestimated to becoming champion, superstar, and one of the most controversial fighters in the UFC. But to understand him, we have to start long before the UFC. Israel Adesanya was born in Nigeria, but his life changed when his family moved to New Zealand while he was still young. He wasn't the typical tough kid. He was skinny, loved anime, loved dancing, and often felt like he didn't really fit in. In school, he got bullied, and for a long time, fighting wasn't something he did. It was something he avoided. But everything changed when he's watched the movie Ong Bak. After that, he became obsessed with striking and martial arts. And this moment is important because years later, this striking style would make him champion. He started training kickboxing, and very quickly, coaches realized he wasn't normal. He had timing, distance control, creativity, and most importantly, he stayed calm when others panicked. While other fighters fought with anger, Adesanya fought like he was solving a puzzle. And without many people noticing, he slowly started building the striking style that would later make him one of the most dangerous middleweights in the world. Before most MMA fans even heard his name, Israel Adesanya already had dozens of kickboxing fights. He fought everywhere, small arenas, different countries, sometimes multiple fights in a short time. He wasn't just winning, he was learning. Distance, timing, feints, patience. He was building a style that looked more like a video game character than a traditional fighter. When he finally transitioned to MMA, many people thought he was just another striker who would get taken down and controlled. But fight after fight, he proved them wrong. Then came the fight against Derek Brunson. And remember this moment, because from here, his career moves very fast. A strong wrestler, dangerous, aggressive, exactly the type of opponent people said would expose him. Instead, Adesanya stayed calm, picked him apart, and finished him. After that night, he wasn't a prospect anymore. He was a problem for the entire middleweight division. When you watch Israel Adesanya fight, the first thing you notice is how calm he is. He's not rushing forward, he's not swinging wildly. He's watching, measuring, waiting. Adesanya fights like a sniper. He doesn't throw the most punches, but he often lands the most important ones. One of his most common patterns is simple but deadly. He feints, the opponent reacts, and he counters immediately. Many of his best shots come right after a fake. He also loves to step back and counter when opponents rush forward, making them run into his punches. His leg kicks are another big weapon. He keeps hitting the legs over and over again until opponents slow down and can't move the same anymore. What makes him special is his distance control. He's always just a little bit too far away, and the moment you try to reach him, you get hit. But pressure fighters who keep walking forward and don't respect his feints have given him serious problems before. And one fight showed the world exactly how to beat him. And one particular fight used exactly this strategy to beat him. We'll get to that in a minute. No great fighter becomes a legend without a rival. For Israel Adesanya, that rival is Alex Pereira. Their story didn't start in the UFC. It started years earlier in kickboxing, where Pereira knocked Adesanya out cold.
这个果真漂亮，非常漂亮啊！
左手平分。
哎，你们是不允许进入这个擂台边角。
这是一场剑盾 Alex。
Once, but twice, he beat him. When both fighters later arrived in the UFC, the story was already written. Sooner or later, they would meet again. The media loved it. The fans loved it. And Adesanya knew this was more than just another title defense. This was personal. And this rivalry would become one of the most important stories in modern MMA. When they finally fought for the UFC middleweight title, Adesanya was winning most of the fight, controlling the distance, landing the cleaner shots. But then, late in the fight, Pereira caught him, hurt him badly, and finished him against the cage. Just like that, Pereira became champion, and Adesanya lost not just the belt, but again to the same man. For many people, this looked like the end of his story.
He's got his number.
I washed him away in that 5th round. I left no doubt. Believe me, I didn't care. I was going to get this done one way or another.
Losing to Pereira was more than just losing a belt. It felt like Adesanya was fighting the same nightmare again and again. And every time, Pereira was waiting at the end of it. Many fans started saying he could never beat him, that Pereira was his kryptonite. But Adesanya asked for the rematch immediately. No long break, no easy fights. He wanted Pereira again. In the rematch, the pressure was enormous. If he lost again, the rivalry would be over forever. Pereira hurt him early and had him against the cage, the same situation where he finished him before. But this time, Adesanya stayed calm, waited for the moment, and then landed one perfect counter. Pereira fell, Adesanya followed with punches, and just like that, the story changed. From being the man who couldn't beat Pereira, he became the man who knocked him out and took everything back. This was one of the biggest comeback moments in UFC title fight history. Now the question is, how will Israel Adesanya be remembered? As one of the greatest middleweights ever, a technical genius, and a superstar who changed the style of modern striking? Or as a fighter who was brilliant, but always had rivals that pushed him to his limits? That's the interesting thing about his career. It's not perfect, but that's exactly why it's so interesting. Now I want to hear your opinion. Is Israel Adesanya a future legend of the sport, or is he overrated? Write it in the comments. I read everything. And if you enjoy these fighter stories, subscribe to the channel, because this is just the beginning. The next fighter story is even crazier.